Now, Harry, you mentioned the injury situation there. Could you give us an update on Ibrahim Assam, please?
Well, he got a knock on the nose. It wasn't his head, it was his nose. But you've got to be very careful these days, Andrew, because, you know, if you make the wrong decision and the lad ends up being badly hurt in another clash, then you look at yourself and think, could I have avoided it? And, you know, I don't care how much you love your football, a player's health's much more important than any game of football.
Yeah.
So he was took off as a precaution, basically just to make sure he was okay. And he is okay. Hopefully he'll be. I've spoken to him already, and he'll be okay for Saturday. And I think that's the most important thing. You cannot ever think for 1 minute that a game of football is more important than a player's health. And we did that purely and simply because he was dazed, and we weren't prepared to take the chance on the lad. Okay,
Harry. So it's not a broken nose, then?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't get that close with the players. I don't know what they all look like very close. But no, I think his good looks are still intact.
Okay, Harry. Well, that's some good news then.
Fixture details,
match reports, interviews and club news.
The unofficial fans forum.
Find them all on the Whitby Town Club website at www.whitby-town.com. Your site for everything Whitby Town.
Yes, of course, Ibby's not the only injury we have.
No.
An entire forward line, I believe, Harry. At least Hackey made the bench, if not coming off the bench on Tuesday. Is that a sign that perhaps he might be in contention for Saturday's game?
I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, he how can I put it? He's as keen as mustard to get back in the swing of things. He's bitterly disappointed the injury's dragging on the way it is. He actually wanted to go on for the last 10 minutes on Saturday, but we don't think it's worth it, Andrew. Again, it's one of them cases. Do we get him for a game, and then if it doesn't work out the way it did with Andy, that we'll miss him for the next couple of weeks, and then the lad's losing 4 or 5 games. At the minute, we're in the position where we really can't take any chances with injuries, and it'll be the same on Saturday. He tried it off before the game on Tuesday, and it didn't feel right again, although we had named him again just in case he was going to be okay. But unfortunately for us, we're in a situation where, you know, the majority of the lads that are injured are all in the same position, and we are struggling, in all honesty, to improve that position in the team, because, you know, we've tried various people and we can't get older players, so we're just going to have to persevere with what we've got at the moment, I'm afraid.
Okay, Harry. Yes, that was going to be my next question. No hope of any new signings between now and Saturday.
Well, we are hoping to have one, but unfortunately he's not a forward. But having said that, we've got Chrissy Hansen. We've got we thought he was going to struggle a little bit. And we've got Denny Ingram, who had to come off. Yeah, Charlo was the other one, another forward. So I've spoke to Martin Foyle this afternoon, and
from York City.
We've got permission to sign Andy McWilliams, who's a left-sided. Well, a left-back come left-sided player, and we're hoping to get that tied up tomorrow, so he'll be available to play on Saturday.
Okay.
We've got initially, I've agreed with Martin this afternoon, we've got initially on a month's loan, and it's the thing about it at the minute, Andrew, it's just getting anybody in.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it would be nice to be choosy, but at the minute we're struggling up front, we're struggling at the back, and anybody who we can get, we're just going to have to, just toss in there and just see what happens.
I was going to say, I mean, if I could pick out maybe one positive from Tuesday, despite the obvious problems we have scoring goals, we did manage to get 3.
Well, we did, and to be fair, we had 2 disallowed, so that would have been 5. The second one, I don't think there was an issue. The first one, we definitely thought there was no problem with it. Don't forget, first half we had one cleared off the line. We had the last couple of minutes of the first half. I mean, how many chances did we have off the corners? Must have been 4 or 5.
Yep.
And towards the end of the game, I think we must have had half a dozen corners in the last couple of minutes, and it didn't come to fruition. So, regardless of who you play against, and I've got to say, I think Durham will take points off other teams and all now.
Yeah.
I don't think that will not be an issue. They'll certainly take points off people. So, in the respect, where we're looking at the minute, the result was bad, but I think anybody will see towards the end of the season that they will, get some more results. And it's just unfortunate that I'm saying unfortunate. It's just at the minute, the way things are going for us, we're more happy to make sure we've got 11 players on the park.
I was going to say, Harry, do you think with Messrs Dalton, Hackworth and Campbell up front, we would have won on Tuesday night?
Well, I certainly think with them three up front would give anybody a game. I think you've just got to look back to the games they all play together, and just when you think, oh, we've got something good going here, all of a sudden, you're going to lose an injury now and again, but to lose all three within the space of a week really is a big blow. It's just, Andrew, it's like losing your back four.
Yeah.
You think, oh, we're tight, we look big, we look strong, we're not going to concede. Then all of a sudden, you either lose your two centre backs or you lose three out the back four, and all of a sudden, it's very difficult to replace. And it's the same in the middle of the park. If you've got, two or three good midfield players, or 1 week and a fire on all cylinders, then the next week they're all injured. It makes it very difficult. So we are finding difficult in getting points at the minute, and it's purely and simply down to the fact of the amount of players that have got injured. And there's not an awful lot we can do about it.
You can find the Whitby Town Club shop at the canteen end of the main stand. It stocks a wide variety of goods, including replica football shirts, hats and scarves, polo and t-shirts, pennants and badges, and lots more, including a large stock of old programmes for Whitby Town, as well as other league and non-league clubs. So make sure you call into the club shop on a match day and have a look around. You might just pick yourself up a bargain.
OK, Harry. Now, mercifully, we'll move away from the Durham game for a minute and go back to Saturday when we played Ashton United, of course. After playing well and taking the lead, it must have been very disappointing to concede an equaliser 8 minutes from time, Harry.
Well, we had the ball, opposite their 18-yard box on a throw-in, and within half a minute we've conceded a goal. And it's what you call Sunday morning stuff. It's where your throw-in's bad, you don't keep possession, the ball goes down the line, you've got a couple of opportunities to stop them, we haven't done that, and the lad's got a turn in on the edge of the box and he's scuffed the one in, and you just there's sometimes, Andrew, when you'd like to go through every little aspect of every part of the game, including throw-ins and free kicks and corner kicks, but when it comes to it, it's down to players, and to me, you can go on as much as what you can, but at the end of the day, it's basics where players as well as us should be counting the game down. You're in the last 10 minutes. It was, to be fair to them, they didn't look very good, and I don't think I'm being disparaging that, and we didn't look very good neither. And you just think, well, it's one of them games. If we don't do now daft, we can just win it 1-0. But unfortunately, we didn't do it.
Yeah. As I say, would you look upon it as 2 points dropped then rather than one gained?
Oh, definitely. The last three games we've had, I would have certainly took a point against Thurby. Obviously with the situation we're in at the minute, and you would like to think we could beat Ashton, and even if we had to scrape through against Durham after the win they've had at the weekend, and they caught a hoop, you would have said, well, that's good going. But at the minute we've got one, and it's not good enough for. Well, it isn't good enough for us, regardless of what we doing at the moment.
And of course, not helping that Durham are getting quite a lot of publicity at the moment. I don't seem to be able to avoid hearing about Tuesday night's game. I even heard it on Radio 5 Live 3 times. It's their day. It was their day on the night. It's these things happen in football. Last weekend you had Gateshead getting beat 8-0 off Easton or whatever it was earlier in the season. Man United lost to Leeds United in the FA Cup. These games happen. That's why we all love football. Yes.
But I'll put the boot on the other foot, Andrew. I was at a match last night. In actual fact, one of our supporters had a little word with us on Saturday about somebody he thought was a decent player playing for a local team. So, luckily for me, they were actually playing last night. So I had a nice trip out.
Yeah.
One man and his dog was there, and out of that one man, he must have been the only man there who was actually at the game at Durham on Tuesday. And his very words were, he's never enjoyed a game of football as much in his life.
Okay.
As a neutral, 7 goals, goals disallowed, chances going a begging, shots flying in from 30 yards, everything you can ask for in a game of football. And as a neutral, he thoroughly enjoyed it, and he'll be going back to watch Durham.
I was going to say, I brought a couple of my friends to do the first proper non-league game, and yes, I think they might be coming back as well.
Yeah, well, from our point of view, obviously we weren't happy with it. But from a neutral point of view, it was probably an extremely exciting game, and If you didn't support either club, then you'd have gone home thinking, well, I've paid whatever it is to get in, I've had a pint or two, and that's what football's all about.